Here is what spending $27,000 a day taught me about business, marketing, and entrepreneurship. Okay, and for today's example, I'm going to be using a webinar funnel, and I was actually on a coaching call this morning with my Done With You group for our webinar accelerator, and someone was asking me what they look at when scaling, which gave me this video idea. When you're raising more spend and you start to spend more money, you start to find bottlenecks inside of the funnel. Most of the bottlenecks are not a problem with your ads. They're a problem with things you don't see. As far as offer validation, looking at your cost per clicks, your CTRs, pricing stacks, offer stacks, key man risk, all these things I'm going to walk through in this visual below. So let's hop over to the board here, okay? And I'm literally going from top to bottom. So for today's example is a webinar funnel. Okay, we're going to start here at the very top. I'm going to use a black cursor so you can follow where I'm reading. Okay, so our ad click starts here. So we're going to put a little click emblem here. They click your ad, and this is where I go in my mind. Okay, first thing I'll look for is what are my cost per clicks and what is my CTR. Now, if I have a low cost per click, which is basically anything like below, $3, okay, that's good. Anything that is higher than $3 is usually an issue, okay? Now that can come down to two things, which we'll go over in a second. Now we look at CTR. What's low? That's gonna be below 1%. Okay, high would be higher than 1%, or like a 1.5-ish, I'll give it. Okay, when we look at these stats, we're able to decipher two things. If my cost per clicks are low, it means that I'm in the green. Okay, if they're high, it means that I gotta look at two things. One is targeting, two is urgency. Does my offer have the right targeting? Most of the time I'm doing broad because of the Andromeda update. I made a video on that, so you can obviously look at that. Second is urgency. Is my offer actually urgent for the avatar to want to consume and want to opt in, or is it just something that they might think about down the road? Urgency is mostly the biggest issue, and then targeting through Andromeda will do its own thing. But okay, now we look at the creative piece, which is the CTR. Okay, if I have a low CTR, I need to redo the creative completely. I'm gonna redo it. I'm gonna use a different hook, different background, whatever it is. Okay, also some different hooks. So I'm gonna change the hooks. Okay, I'm gonna look at my RDP, which is my results-driven promise, which is what I'm promising in the video. Okay, and that usually comes down to offer. Okay, so what is your offer? Because if your CTRs are low, it means your offer is just not results-driven promisey, and it's just not sexy enough. Now, if my CTRs are high, look at both sides here. If I check off, I move down to conversion rate. Okay, so now they go to the landing page. Okay, if my conversion rates are, if it's lower than 15%, now it comes down to headline, okay, VSL on the page, proof, and then also my sub headline. Those things that I would obviously tweak. Okay, and you should be going through your webinar right now with me while I'm going through these KPIs in order, because this is how I look at everything. Okay, if it's more than 15%, which is my opt-in rate for a free webinar, I go to the next step. Now I look at cost per lead. If my cost per leads are less than $15, now we're gonna look at what the show rates are. If my cost per leads are higher than $15, I'm gonna try to push out as much creative as possible, or I'll do an A/B split test, which we do for our clients. If you wanna be one of those, you can click the calendar link in the description, also in the comment section, and we will do all this for you with a Done For You webinar in 14 days. Okay, if I'm doing an A/B split test, I can now see what headlines work. So I'll do headline 1 versus headline 2, and I'll let those two run against each other. 51-49 traffic split. Okay, 51 goes to the control, 49% goes to the second one. Okay, a lot of people do 50-50. We don't, because 50-50 has like weird traffic things. It's also on ClickFunnels. It does like weird shit. But 51-49 is usually how I run it. Okay, now if our cost per leads are dialing, now we go to the next piece. Okay, the next piece is show rates. Okay, we get leads, who's showing up. If we get more than 20%, now we're gonna look at stick rate, because more than 20% is great. Less than 20%, we need to look at, is it the timing or the time of day and the time of week for the webinar? Maybe instead of Thursday night, you try Tuesday night. Will that be a big enough of a lift? You don't know until you test and try. Or your offer doesn't have enough urgency for them to want to show up and solve that problem now. It's not like this, we call it the bleeding neck offer, which is like, I need this shit because my neck is bleeding. Okay, if you don't have bleeding neck verbiage, then it's harder for you to have urgency in your offer. Okay, now here's the only other case scenario. If I have less than 20% show rates, I would then look at lead quality. Because maybe if my lead quality is high, which would be B2B, then I got to make sure that my offer is, a faster results offer. Because some B2Bs have lower show rates, but they're higher quality leads on the webinar. If my lead quality is low and I'm running a B2C offer, then I would need to fix my offer to be less risk. Okay, so B2B is faster results, like quick wins. B2C is I have to make money, but I need less risk, because B2C people have more fear than B2B people. That's just the way it works. Okay, so if we go back to the top left here, and I have more than 20%, now I look at my stick rate. What percentage of people stay till the end? If it's more than 80%, good. If it's less than 80%, then I got to look at what's my energy in the room. Okay, what's the speed and how I move my presentation? Am I taking too long to get to my pitch? Am I dragging things out too long? Am I answering too many questions? And then third is engagement. How is the room reacting to what I'm saying? Am I getting them involved and engaged in the message? Okay, if it's over 80%, now I'm getting to my pitch. What's my offer validation? What's my pricing? And what's my key man risk bonus? Okay, offer validation means that people are buying. Okay, cha-ching, they're spending money with you, people are buying. Second piece is the pricing. Okay, so do they actually like the pricing, or do I have to switch my pricing structure? I have multiple videos on this channel talking about webinar price models and how that works. You can go check one of those out as well. And then we look at the key man risk bonus. On my webinars, I sell our Done For You webinar with the key man risk bonus of buying on the webinar being your slide deck is done for you. That is a key man risk. You take the most important thing from the program, you don't include it, and then you add it as the bonus for taking action on the webinar. You have to give something that is key man risk. Okay, it's kind of like selling a car and there's no fucking wheels on it. Okay, the wheels are the key man risk. I can't drive my car unless I have wheels, or I can't drive my car unless I have gas. Okay, those are key man risk bonuses that they would basically take from you. What car dealerships tend to do is actually they'll just not give you the warranty. You got to buy the warranty, right? Or they can include it as you haggle. But that's where the key man risk bonus would come into play. Okay, so now we have that stuff hammered out, and now sales are coming in. Okay, I have two things that I can look at: conversion rate, pricing stack. Okay, my conversion rates will then dictate, can we raise prices? If I take my offer from a 2 a 3K, conversion rate shouldn't drop. Now let's say about my pricing stack. Maybe I'm not getting sales. Is it too much? Am I not building enough trust? Is there no urgency? Because now I have to rework my offer stack and pricing. Now, if I can raise prices and I can raise it from 2K to 3K, we can use the 3K to use as a credit to ascend people. So a good example of this is, let's say you sell, we'll go up top here, a 3K and then a 9K. This is like your mid tier, this is your high tier. You buy the 3K, you get on the onboarding call and you say to them, hey, listen, you bought the 3K, we have a 9. You can take the 3 you spent off the 9 and now it becomes 6K. That's a good way to ascend people. And the last is, can we increase back-end lifetime value? We increase back-end lifetime value of getting more people to buy the 6K Ascension. And this is literally how I look from front of the funnel to the back of the funnel. So I hope breaking this down, gave you some clarity. If it did, okay, subscribe to the channel and I will see you in the next video.